Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to...
Okay, so today we are going to finish out the book haul for 2025. And I am drowning in books. Not a bad thing. I am not complaining. It is more of a note to self commentary here. I need to read my shelves next year. I need to weed out what doesn't work. And I am okay with that. So, okay. I, like the last video, will put timestamps in this one. This is going to be, again, from a variety of sources. Most are going to be from Better World, my library bookshop, and the last section of this video is going to be the last things I have picked up recently. Those are either going to be from Walmart or Amazon during Black Friday deals. And, you know, that's okay, because one of those was a box set I got for 60% off. So, you know, you buy good deals when you see them. Okay, up first is going to be cookbooks. By far the smallest section. But I love me a good cookbook. And these are very different cookbooks. So first up would be the ice cream book. The ultimate ice cream book, excuse me. And this is by Bruce Weinstein. And I owned this book when we lived in Arizona. And when we downsized to move into the RV, I downsized this book. I wasn't, bringing my KitchenAid with me. I certainly wasn't bringing my ice cream bowl for my KitchenAid with me. So I got rid of the cookbook. I have regretted it every day since, and thus I repurchased Please Balance Coffee Cup. The cookbook, I love the recipes in here. I will read you a couple. I know there is an Earl Grey ice cream recipe in here. There is a pumpkin ice cream. And what I really love about all of the recipes, or at least the majority of them, it's probably not the best example. This is pumpkin ice cream. And he gives you 4 or 5 or more variations on the base of the ice cream. So like the first variation for pumpkin ice cream is pumpkin pie ice cream. And then there's pumpkin raisin ice cream, or pumpkin rum ice cream, or pumpkin seed ice cream. And that's just, one example. There's lemon yogurt ice cream. There's ginger ice cream, which sounds amazing. And, pfeffernuss ice cream, which is a variation of ginger. Maybe I'll make that for Christmas. We shall see. But it has, granadas in it, and sorbet, and just like this is coconut sorbet. 3 variations. Coffee granada. 3 variations right off the bat. And they're easy. These aren't very complicated recipes. They're like the cranberry sorbet is just cranberries, a little bit of sugar, cranberry juice, water, and salt. We're not talking weird ingredients you can't get a hold of. So, I highly recommend this cookbook. I highly recommend this cookbook. Okay. This one I originally checked out of my library, and I picked it up for my birthday this year. That is Good and Cheap by Leanne Brown. And if you are teaching yourself to cook, if you're teaching your kids to cook, if you just want inexpensive dinner ideas that stretch well, pick up this book. Are you going to love every recipe in here? Probably not. I don't know anybody that loves every recipe in every cookbook, but like this is spicy and crunchy polenta. Polenta stretches well. It takes proteins well. There's cauliflower cheese recipe in here. And I have made this recipe specifically before. This is tomato and tuna spaghetti. I absolutely love this recipe. I did not think this would be a recipe I enjoyed. I absolutely loved it. Dave did not, but that's okay. He doesn't really like tuna. He really doesn't like tomatoes, so it wasn't a surprise. But will I make it for myself? Yes. Can I cut this down and, make it if he's, late coming home for dinner, or I want a warm lunch, or, whatever. Yes, it's easy. It has recipes for all the meals of the day. It has beverages, as I recall. It has breakfast, soup and salad, snacks, sides, and small bites, dinner, big batch, pantry, drinks, and dessert. I highly, highly recommend this book. And there's, if there's a recipe, there's a picture. So this is cornmeal crusted veggies. Those would go in your air fryer. Ideas, things on toast. Avocado toast, Asian greens, guapro, caramelized onions and cheddar, roasted vegetables. So this is, great dish. Bubble and Squeak is in here. So I highly, highly recommend this cookbook. Okay. Now for the big old pile sitting over here. It's mostly contemporary with things that didn't fit in well anywhere else thrown in. So, these are all books I really want to read. One of them is actually a Goodreads win. I think it's the only Goodreads. I know it's the only Goodreads win in this entire haul. So, where to start? Okay, let's just get it out of the way because it's going to be a 2026, I know for sure. That is Quicksilver by Neil Stephenson. And this is the first in the Baroque Cycle series, of which there are 3 volumes. And like all Stevenson books, they're, nice big chunky boys. And this one is 900 pages. I am not at all intimidated. I love his writing. As you know, I fell in love with him this year. Quick Story is the story of Daniel Waterhouse, fearless thinker and conflicted Puritan, pursuing knowledge in the company of the greatest minds of Baroque era Europe. In a chaotic world where reason wars with bloody ambitions of the mighty, where catastrophe, natural or otherwise, can alter the political landscape overnight. It is a chronicle of the breathtaking exploits of half-cocked Jack Shafto, London street urchin turned swashbuckling adventurer and legendary king of the vagabonds, risking life and limb for fortune and love while slowly maddening from the pox. It is the tale of Eliza, rescued by Jack from a Turkish harem to become a spy, confidant, and pawn of the royals in order to reinvent Europe through the newborn power of finance. Nobody wants to hold you. A gloriously rich, entertaining, and endlessly inventive novel that brings a remarkable age and its momentous events to vivid life. Quicksilver is the extraordinary achievement for one of the most original and important literary talents of our time. I agree with that assessment of his writing. You will be unsurprised to know that, I'm going to read that very shortly. Hello, Kalu. What, you think nobody saw you recently, so you have to come and look pathetic again? Yeah, because you're so unloved. Don't you feel sorry for her? Yeah. Oh. Okay, silly girl. Can you go lay down, please? Can you go lay down, please? No, I don't want the kisses. And somehow I've collected another Kate Morton book. I still haven't read a single Kate Morton book I own, but apparently I'm just going to buy them all before I read one. So I bought from Better Worlds, The Clockmaker's Daughter. No, you may not drink coffee. She loves eggnog for some reason. And this is in the depths of 19th century winter, a little girl is abandoned on the streets of Victorian London. She grows up to become, in turn, a thief, an artist muse, and a lover. In the summer of 1862, shortly after her 18th birthday, she travels with a group of painters to Birchwood Manor, a beautiful house on the bend of the Upper Thames. Tensions simmer, and one hot afternoon, a gunshot rings out. A woman is killed, another disappears, and the truth of what happened slips through the cracks of time. It is not until more than a century later, when another young woman discovers a long-forgotten sketch and is drawn to Birchwood Manor, that its secrets are finally revealed. Another dual timeline, which is a Kate Morton signature I figured out just from reading the backs of her novels. Highly looking forward to it. Yeah, my eggnog-loving dog. Okay, next up is Hurricane Season by Lauren K. Denton. I have not read anything by her, but I love the cover of this book. It's just gorgeous. And this is a story about families and mending the past. And it's published by Thomas Nelson, so it's undoubtedly relatively clean. And it is, despite how chunky it looks, not a huge page count. It's 382 pages. So I am interested to see where that one takes me. Next up is a Dorothea Benton Frank. I cannot wait. This is Same Beach Next Year. And this is not part of the Sullivan Island series, which I'm fine with. And this one is 370 pages. I want to go into this completely blind. I fell in love with her writing. One book is all it took. I'm now collecting them all. Be it on Kindle when they come on sale, or, when I can pick them up used for next to nothing. Okay, this is A Better World. This appeared in one of my monthly tags in 2025. This is The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson, and this is the first book in a series, and I just, I know this is going to remind me of my husband. It says, the art of love is never a science. Meet Don Tillman, a brilliant yet socially challenged professor of genetics who's decided it's time he found a wife. And so, in the orderly, evidence-based manner with which Don approaches all things, he designs the Wife Project to find his perfect partner. A 16-page, scientifically valid survey to filter out the drinkers, the smokers, and the late arrivers. Rosie Jarman is all of these things. She's also strangely beguiling, fiery, and intelligent. And while Don quickly disqualifies her as a candidate for the Wife Project, as a DNA expert, Don is particularly suited to help Rosie on her own quest, identifying her biological father. When an unlikely relationship develops as they collaborate on the Father Project, Dawn is forced to confront the spontaneous whirlwind that is Rosie, and the realization that despite your best scientific efforts, you don't find love, it finds you. Yeah, I really want to read that. Who's surprised? Okay, my one and only Goodreads win. I did win another one of her books, and I tried it this year or last. What was the title of that book? One Big Happy Family. And I don't mind the writing. Her writing was fine. It was, as I recall, the language. She has these beautiful covers that just draw me in. So I thought I'd give her another chance if I won the giveaway, which I did. That is The Lake Escape by Jamie Day. And this is a, contemporary friend story. Julia, David, and Erica grew up together, spending summers at their idyllic Vermont lake homes for as long as they can remember. Now adults, with their own sullen teens, endless mortgages, and low-voltage sex lives, the three friends have amassed secrets over the years. There are no friends like old friends. This summer, David is eager to show off his newly renovated home, which now blocks his friend's cherished lake views, and his much younger girlfriend. He also unwittingly brings a nanny with a hidden agenda. What could possibly go wrong? But it's your friends who can hurt you the most. When David's girlfriend mysteriously vanishes after a shouting match, Julia and Erica wonder just how well they know their lifelong friend. The lake harbors a harrowing past. Two young women with no known connection vanished without a trace 30 years apart. Did the lake take another? As the search is mounted, an intricate web of lies, deceit, and betrayals spanning generations start to surface. And everyone finds themselves in danger of becoming the next victim of the lake or something darker. Still waters run deadly. So, I'm going to give her another try. It didn't cost me anything. If I don't like it, it'll go to my library and somebody else will pick it up and be happy. It's told from multiple points of view, which I recall from her last book. So, we shall see. Okay. Next up, I don't remember if I talked about this one in my historical fiction book haul, so I'm going to talk about it here. That is The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. I, again, have talked about this in at least one, if not more, monthly tags in 2025. And this is a story that takes place in Australia. I'm not going to read the back, but this was a Better Worlds pickup. I am very intrigued. So, it came home. Okay, next up. Well then. Apparently the books think I should read them now. This is what happens when you rearrange your house for the holidays. Next up are two books from the same author. I have read one book by her and trying to find the title of that book. I read that book years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Two Moons Over Sedona. So the two books are Better Get to Livin' and The Happy Hour Choir. And both are by Sally Kirkpatrick. I highly, highly recommend Two Moons Over Sedona. I read it over a decade ago. Could not tell you, content-wise what was in the book. All I remember is that it was about older characters. They were, in their midlife. And I absolutely adored the writing. I adored the humor. I adored the character work. So I'll read you the back of the Happy Hour Choir. Life has dealt Balula Land a tough hand to play, least of all being named a hymn. A teenage pregnancy estranged her from her family, and a tragedy caused her to lose what little faith remained. The wayward daughter of a Baptist deacon, she spends her nights playing the piano at the Fountain, a honky-tonk located just across the road from County Line Methodist. But when she learns that her dear friend's dying wish is for her to take over as the church's piano player, she realizes it may be time to face the music. Balula butts heads with Luke Daniels, the new pastor at County Line, who is determined to cling to tradition even though he needs to attract more congregants to the aging church. But the choir also isn't enthusiastic about Balula's contemporary take on the old songs and refuses to perform. Undaunted, Balula assembles a ragtag group of patrons from the Fountain to form the Happy Hour Choir. And as the unexpected gig helps her let go of her painful past and accept the love she doesn't think she deserved, she just may be able to prove to Luke that she can toe the line between sinner and saint. Seriously, I am very much looking forward to these two books. And if my memory serves, they were at one point available in Kindle Unlimited. Whether or not they still are, I don't know. But I wanted them in my back pocket. They're not literary challenging. They're not mentally challenging, but they are, at least the one book I've read by her, was just joyful. And we all need joyful. So there you go. Okay, next up. Let me grab a stack over here. Okay. Whew. Stop. Okay. This is a 2 novels in one bind up from Barbara Delinsky. That would be Sweet Salt Air and Blueprints. Oof. Sorry about the glare. I have not read anything by her, but this was a Better Worlds pickup. Was it? No, this was a library pickup. So I paid $1 for it. If I don't, like the writing style, it goes to the library and it's not a big deal. So I'll read you the description for Sweet Salt Air. Charlotte and Nicole were once the best of friends, spending summers together in Nicole's coastal island home off of Maine. But many years and many secrets have kept the women apart. A successful travel writer, Charlotte lives on the road, while Nicole, a food blogger, keeps house in Philadelphia with her surgeon husband, Julian. When Nicole is commissioned to write a book about island food, she invites her old friend Charlotte back to Quinnipiac for a final summer to help. Outgoing and passionate, Charlotte has a gift for talking to people and making friends, and Nicole could use her expertise for interviews with the locals. Missing a genuine connection, Charlotte agrees. But what both women don't know is that they are each holding something back that may change their lives forever. So it's definitely contemporary women's fiction. Thought I would give it a try. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. I know this has appeared on several lists for me this year. I picked it up from Better Worlds. And excuse me while I peel off a sticker while I can. And I know this one is going to remind me of my husband. It's been on my radar for a while. I will link the video series that Christine did about her reading experience with this and how it reminded her of her husband. And I will link Alan's channel down below. And Alan over at the Library of Alexandria helped me understand my husband better. So they hold a soft spot in my heart. Anyway, this is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. Yes, there's a movie. I have not seen the movie, but I'm not going to read the back of this, but it's undoubtedly going to remind me of Dave, and I am okay with that. I really, really am okay with that. So, okay. Up next, there is a giant pile. Okay. I say giant pile. It's 4 books. Another author I apparently am collecting and have not read anything by her yet, but from the sound of all of them, I'm going to love them, so I'm picking them up while I can, both used when they're on sale, on Kindle, and that is Maeve Binchy. And for my birthday, I picked up 4 from Better Worlds, so, and I love some of these covers immensely. This is The Glass Lake, and to the outsider, Kit McMahon leads a charmed life, growing up in the small Irish town of Loch Glass with her kindly father, beautiful mother, and younger brother. Loch Glass is a place where everyone knows everyone. Children who walk to school together grow up and become sweethearts and merry. People gossip and grumble and dream their lives away. For it's a place where change comes slowly. Yeah. You just want to know. And then I picked up another beautiful cover. This is The Knights of Rain and Stars. I just want to go into this one blind because, beautiful covers. This is a little more evocative cover. This is Heart and Soul. And then I picked up The Copper Beech. And this one is so skinny in comparison to the other 3, but that's okay. Sometimes you just need a skinny book. And this one has very tiny print, and thus it comes in at just shy of 300 pages. I'm okay with that. Given how, many thick books I own, it's good to have some, allegedly smaller ones to occasionally weave in and break up the thickness, right? At least that's what I tell myself. Okay. This is a book I've wanted to read all year, and so I picked it up from Better Worlds. This is 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. This appeared on a monthly tag, and I believe it was also a book club choice that didn't make it. So I picked it up. It is not the most compelling cover of this book that I have seen, but, it's okay. It's not like, I don't care. So, and then, this could have probably got on the mystery. This is Silent in the Sanctuary, a Lady Julia Gray mystery by Deanna Rayborn. And this is not the first in the series. Silent in the Grave is the first. I may have talked about this in historical. I need to track down the first one in this series. I'm okay with that. That was a library pickup. And then this is This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. It's a beautiful hardcover edition. Just, yeah, this could have gone in historical too. In the summer of 1932, on the banks of the Minnesota Gilead River, the Lincoln Indian Training School is a pitiless place where Native American children, forcibly separated from their parents, are sent to be educated. It is also the home to Odie O'Banion, a lively orphan boy whose exploits constantly earn him the superintendent's wrath. Odie and his brother Albert are the only white faces among the hundreds of Native American children at the school. I'm going to love this book. I've heard it's very slow paced, but I am okay with that. I understand the way Kruger writes, and his ability to write the environment as a character is unsurpassed. So, okay, this is also a library find. This is The Moroccan Girl by Charles Cummings. This is a spy thriller, so this could have gone in the mystery series as well, but it was mixed in with contemporary, so there you go. And I will read you the back. In this gripping contemporary thriller reminiscent of the classic Casablanca, a successful spy novelist is drawn into a real-life espionage plot when he is ordered to find a mysterious fugitive on the alluring but deadly streets of Morocco. Renowned author Kit Carradine is approached by an MI6 officer with a seemingly straightforward assignment: track down a mysterious woman hiding somewhere in the exotic, perilous city of Marrakesh. But when Carradine learns the woman is a dangerous fugitive with ties to international terrorism, the glamour of being a spy is soon tainted by fear and betrayal. Laura Bartok is the leading figure in Resurrection, a violent revolutionary movement whose brutal attacks on prominent right-wing public figures have spread hatred and violence around the world. Her disappearance ignites a race between warring intelligence services desperate to find her at any cost. But as Carradine edges closer to the truth, he finds himself drawn to this beautiful, brilliant, and profoundly complex woman. Caught between increasingly dangerous forces who want Bartok dead, Carradine soon faces an awful choice: to abandon Laura to her fate, or to risk everything trying to save her. Charles Cummings writes brilliant spy fiction. This was a no-brain pickup for me. Okay, I have picked up 2 Pat Conroy books. This first one was a library find. Luckily, it was the library trip. Dave came in the library with me, and I say luckily because it was on the very top shelf, well out of my short stuff little reach. That is Beach Music. And my brain is telling me I may have another copy of this book, but I am not sure. But if I do, I do. I paid $1 for the hardback, so it's not a big deal. And then I also picked up The Prince of Tides, and this was new from Walmart, and it says it's a modern American classic. So, and Pat Conroy died in 2016. And I think I picked up a couple of his books on my Kindle as well, so I am looking forward to those. Okay, and last up, as I continue to draw on books, is an author that won't be a surprise. Okay, last author is Kristen Hanna, and I picked up The Four Winds, which I have not read. And then I filled out the Firefly series. And I already own Firefly. It's over there in my bookcases. Okay, so Firefly Lane is book 2 in the series. And then the third one is Fly Away. And they're not ever listed as a series, but if you go look on like Goodreads or Storygraph or whatever, they are. So whether or not they're all truly related, I'm not sure, but you know. Well, they are, because the names are the same on the back of this book as on the back of Firefly Lane. So they are a trilogy. And I am looking forward to them. Now that I have them all, I can dive in. And they were pickups from the library and Better Worlds. I love her writing. I love her ability to immerse her readers in whatever setting she chooses, and she writes in a wide variety. So I'm definitely ready to dive into those. Okay, so the last section of this video is going to be the miscellaneous stuff that I have picked up since I did my first book haul video related to my birthday. And with the exception of one book that isn't here yet, these are all of the hard physical copies that I'm... So these are going to be the last physical books I pick up and purchase for the rest of the year, and hopefully for a good number of months. And I will talk about the one book that is missing. It should arrive probably today. It'll undoubtedly arrive as soon as I'm done filming. So let me go get those and I'll be right back. Okay, now we are at all the recent editions. And for the most part, these are filling out series, or they were on Black Friday discount, or a really good price on Walmart for a used book. One of them is a Goodreads win, so I'm pleased as punch. Dave and I don't generally exchange Christmas gifts, anniversary gifts, birthday gifts, we don't have kids. So, if one of us wants something, the other one usually just tends to get it rather than wait for a big event. So there is that to factor in. I do have some Christmas books under my tree from girlfriends. I will open those and share them after the new year, but they are the exception to the Christmas gift thing. So, okay, without further ado, the latest editions. So let's do the Goodreads win first. This is a cozy mystery. It is a Mary Wrath mystery. It is by Leslie Langtree. I have not read anything by her. I've not read anything in this series, but look at that cover. It's just so sweet. And she signed the book when she sent it to me, and there is a bookmark included. And there's something like 30 books in this series, at least. So this is called Miss Butterpig Murder. There's like a very sweet turkey on the front. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a turkey. That's a goose. Canadian goose at that. So I'll read you the back. There she is, Miss Butterpig of Who's There. Everyone, an ex-CIA agent turned Girl Scout leader Mary Wrath's home of Who's There, Iowa, is thrilled when the Miss Butterpig pageant for middle school girls comes to town. Okay, so the most thrilled people are the pageant moms, but there are girls in Mary's troupe who can't wait to compete as well. In fact, girls Mary has never met before come out of the woodwork like a poetry-writing goth, a Russian bodybuilder, and a baton-wielding kid whose ponytail may be a bit too tight. There she is, your middle school, ideal? Mary and her friends, Kelly, Hilly, Kevin, and the Hamlets are tapped to be judges, and everyone is getting excited for the big event. What could go wrong? Other than one of the pageant moms being found dead in the alley behind the theater, moments after trying to influence the judges on her daughter's behalf. She's the smartest of the smart. She's walking on air. Between dealing with Russian gangsters, most of her troupe competing as budding beauty queens, a Wagnerian operatic goose, and several overzealous pageant moms, Mary has to solve this murder quickly. so the show can go on and Miss Butterpig can be crowned. She's Miss Butterpig. Who's there? So it's 250 pages. And, it's a good read, wins. I have absolutely no qualms trying a new to me author. I don't even know if they're on Kindle Unlimited, so I will let you know when I read it. I like the fact that there's cookies on the cover. Helps soften the undoubtedly crazy Canadian goose. And we all know I love a good cozy, so who am I to complain? Okay, this is A Rose for the Crown by Anne Easter Smith. It's a nice big chunky boy. I have at least 2, if not more, of her books sitting on my shelves. I'm trying to, add them all. This was under $4 on Amazon, or not Amazon, Walmart. It's in perfect condition. And this is a unforgettable heroine, a king misunderstood by history, and a love story that has never been told. It is a novel of Richard III. So we know I'm going to love this. I love the cover. This one is 632 pages, so by far not the biggest one in the bunch. And next up would be, I mentioned this in my historical fiction video, but it has arrived. This is the 3rd book in the Pendragon's Banner trilogy by Helen Hollick. That is Shadow of the King. I have not read her, but I now own the complete trilogy. And this installment is, this volume of the trilogy is just over 700 pages. I am looking forward to this. I have a bunch of Arthurian books sitting on my shelf, so it's going to be nice to see that juxtaposition between takes on the, Arthurian legend, and I am looking forward to that unique perspective. Okay, and that brings us to science fiction. I'm not sure if I've talked about the first 2 of these, but this is The Martian by Andy Weir. I picked this up because I picked up Project Hail Mary and they came bundled together, so I've heard this is very good. I'm looking forward to it. And this is epistolary, or has some epistolary in it, so I may read this for Epistolary January this year. That's probably a very good idea. And I know I've talked about this. I don't know if I've shown it. This is Time Enough for Love by Robert Heinlein. I just finished my first Heinlein book. I loved it. I know I'm going to love this book. One of my favorite quotes from science fiction is in this book. Can I tell you the quote off the top of my head? I cannot. I'm very bad at remembering quotes, but every time I come across this quote, I love it. Clue is on her way up. So I will read you the back of this. Time Enough for Love follows Lazarus Long through a vast and magnificent timescape of centuries and worlds. Heinlein's longest and most ambitious work is the story of a man so in love with life that he refused to stop living it, and so in love with time that he became his own ancestor. Yeah, this is going to be a novel I savor. So, okay, this is a direct result of my 4th quarter Catholic fiction genre recommendation video, and it is not available on Kindle Unlimited. It is not available on Kindle Period or Nook or Kobo or any of those things. And it is a duology. That is Our Lady of the Architects by Andrew Gilsmith. Book 2 is out. However, it is not currently available in print anywhere. So as soon as it is available, I will be purchasing it because A, I love the cover, and B, I love the description of this story. World leaders are on edge. Artilec's next generation androids have been reporting strange apocalyptic visions of a lady in white. Most assume it is a hack, but when the Artilect belonging to the wealthiest man in Africa shows up at Our Lady of Nigeria Basilica claiming to be possessed, the stakes are raised. The Vatican sends Father Gabriel Serafin, an exorcist who left behind a brilliant career as a neuroscientist, to Benin City to investigate. The timing couldn't be worse. Rome is on the verge of reconciliation with a Chinese economic interest zone after a 50-year-old Cold War, and the Chinese are particularly sensitive about the so-called apparition. Serafin quickly finds himself caught up in a conspiracy of global and possibly supernatural dimensions. To discover the truth and save not only humanity but the Artilects themselves, Serafin enlists the aid of a tough-as-nails imperial praetor named Namanol Mambu. Their adventures take them across continents and deep into the past as they fight a centuries-old plot that could end humanity as we know it. Our Lady of the Artilects is a mind-bending supernatural science fiction novel where the exorcist meets Westworld with a light dusting of Snow Crash. Snow Crash is by Neil Stephenson, whom I love. So, it is just under 400 pages. I am very, very intrigued, and I don't know why this is so hard to come by. It is traditionally published by Beyond Frontier Editing. I don't know if that's a traditional publisher or not. Let's see. It's published by Mar Thoma Publishing. So, I am on the hunt for the second half of this duology because I have a feeling I'm going to need to know. Okay, that leads me to the book I am undoubtedly picking up next. That would be Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie. It is the second book in the First Law trilogy. And I fell in love with his writing, as you all know from my November wrap-up. I've done everything possible not to just throw everything else aside and pick up this book. So I picked up this one, and I picked up the third book, which is The Last Argument of Kings. It too is a nice big chunky boy. I don't care. It's just over 600 pages, and I'm here for it. I am very, very here for it. Okay, so Black Friday sale. I only bought one physical set of books. It was box set. It was 60% off. Okay. I went and got the mail, so my glasses are darker. The expected book did not arrive. So, back to Black Friday. Box set was 60% off. And Dave and I have this thing. We, Black Friday, Prime Day, whatever, big sale days. If it's on sale, we put it in the cart. We make decisions from there. He saw this one in the cart, and he's like, "That's just buy it. It's 60% off." So, and that is the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. And this is book 1 is A Little Hatred. Book 2 is The Trouble with Peace. And the third is The Wisdom of Crowds. So, This is, I believe, in the first law world. I am in love with his writing, his humor, his character work, his world building. I'm here for all of it. So, okay, the book that has not yet arrived is book 7 of the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. I just need book 8, and then my Expanse series is complete, and I can just dive right into that nice big massive sci-fi opera. And that really is my plan for book buying going forward. If I do buy a physical copy of the book, it's because I am filling out a series that I already have, and or it's an author I know I want to read everything they write, and if they show up in my library bookshop, I'm going to bring them home because they're going to be, between $1.25 and $3 as a standard price. And if it's, a nice leatherback edition, I'm willing to pay a little bit more for that. But otherwise, am I buying a lot of new stuff, from new authors? No, there may be exceptions. There's one exception. The 3rd book in the Molly Chase series comes out this year, or in 2026. I'm obviously buying that as soon as the pre-order goes up. I'm buying that. That's a given. But in general, I want to read my shelves. I want to read my Kindle. If it's new and in the library and it catches my attention, I'll be glad to check it out from the library. But unless I am filling out an existing series or it's an author I trust, I am not buying new at this point. I want to read what I own. I want to dive into those, which means videos like this are going to be the exception, which I am okay with. I don't mind doing these. I love doing these. I love having lots of book choices at home. But at the same time, I do need to start reading my shelves because I'm just out of space. So, time to get that under control, which will make my husband happy. Okay. I will share the Christmas haul beginning of the year. Have you read any of these? Are you interested in any of these? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.